out there in motorcycle YouTube world. It is I, Coach Stroud. Thank you so much for watching and being here with me on this new episode of Let's Ride with Coach Stroud. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate those of you who have liked and subscribed and are commenting on my videos. It means a lot to me. Thank you even to those that are disliking the videos, because at least you're there and you're looking at it and stuff. I mean, I'll take it, you know. Criticism is criticism, and critiques are always good and helpful, and you know, seeing what people are interested in and into, that helps out in the long run. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. It's been a few weeks since I've last updated a motorcycle vlog, and I think probably about 2 weeks since I actually did a video. And I'm gonna go around this guy really quickly. Yay, he looked like he was having a good time. Share with you a little bit of what's going on in my world and why I've been gone for so long. And I do apologize, because I know some people have been not desperately waiting. That sounds really conceited. Some people have been waiting for, you know, some new videos from me, and some students have asked when I'm going to post again and stuff. And so here we go. This is the reason why. One of my dogs passed away, and I know it sounds, some people might understand and some people might not, but my wife and I, and my kids as well, my children, we're the kind of family that views our animals as legitimate members of our family. So losing one is you know, it's very difficult for us. It's, you know, and it was very hard. So I got to be honest. I've been kind of depressed and you know, missing my dog and yeah. So I haven't felt the need or the urge to make videos or even ride my motorcycle, which always makes me happy. And I haven't felt the need or urge to do that, and that's just so weird for me. So here I am. I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better, and there we go. So that's why I've been gone for so long, and I'm really sorry about that. And maybe I can, you know, one day when it's less fresh, I can talk about like just my dog and everything without getting all teary-eyed and emotional. Here we go. All right. So the last motovlog I did was called Why I Serve Part 1, or Why I Served Part 1. And so I want to continue off of that. I got a very good response from a lot of people, and to those people that commented, and thank you so much. I mean, it really does mean the world to me. I love every bit of it, and seeing that other people can relate and know what it was like to be in the military, and those that don't know what it was like, you know, hopefully this will help with some of that, or maybe some understanding. And yeah. So anyways, I left off with the story about the bayonet course and when I was in basic training, and that was an awesome experience. If you haven't heard that story, I encourage you to go and listen to it. I don't know, I think it's a fun story. But yeah, so here we go. So after my time in basic training, I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I love the challenges. I'm terrified of heights. I'm terrified of falling. And at basic training, there were so many things I had to do where I had to, you know, face my fear. Climbing the ladder to heaven, going up it and coming down it. I was a big guy. I was around, you know, 200 and some odd pounds. And I was definitely one of the bigger, cat, hey cat. I was one of the bigger guys, if not the biggest guy in my unit. And, you know, and probably, well, no, not the biggest, but I was one of the biggest guys in my unit, my platoon. And I remember one of my drill sergeants commenting that I flew up that ladder to heaven, and flew up it and flew down it faster than anybody he had ever seen. And he asked me what my strategy was, and I said I was so afraid of falling that the only thing I could think was just get up and get down as quick as possible. And then, you know, we had the ropes courses and stuff, and my drill sergeant had fun with us. He put his foot on the end of the rope and then bounce his foot to kind of make the rope shake and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. I never fell off of it, which was surprising. Yeah, and then, you know, you got things like Victory Tower where you jump off, what's it called? Rappel? Yeah, you rappel off, yeah. And that was a lot of fun, and I did it in one bounce. And my drill sergeant, you know, looked me in the eyes and he's like, you know, Stroud, why are you shaking? And I'm like, I'm terrified, drill sergeant! And he's like, what are you going to do about it? And I said, Wah! And I jumped, and he's like, yes! Go Stroud! You know, like, hey, it was awesome. That was a lot of fun. It was very scary at times, but yeah, I had a good time doing it, and I'm glad that, I'm glad I had that experience. But the rest of my time in basic training was awesome. I mean, we had an awesome unit. I met a lot of really good guys. Some guys that I'm still, you know, I consider myself friends with them, even though we don't talk a whole lot. You know, the brotherhood is still there, and so I miss some of those guys like a lot. We had our little group. We had this old guy. His name was Chief. We called him Chief. I was going into public affairs, so everybody called me Joker, just like the Full Metal Jacket movie. I mean, we had a bunch of different characters. We had Cowboy. He was from Spearman, Texas, and he always talked about Spearman, Texas, and I loved it. He was a great dude. Hopefully. I haven't been able to keep up with Cowboy, but hopefully he's doing well. I might have to search for him on the Facebook later. But while I was in basic training, I was our guidon bearer, and I took that job very seriously. You know, I was at the front of the platoon, marched with the guidon. There's a lot of responsibility with it. I had to protect it. You know, when we got punished, I had to do the punishments with the guidon, you know. So like if I had to do push-ups, I had to lay the guidon across my back so that it would not touch the ground. And it's hard to do, standing, you know, in a push-up position to get that guidon to lay properly. But, you know, it was fun. It was good times. And during graduation from basic training, I was the front of our platoon. I stood in all the, you know, I had led our marches and stuff, and it was great. I would say that I would consider that to be second in command of our platoon. We had this thing called the commander's meeting, where the top 2 soldiers from each platoon, so from the 4 platoons, would meet with the commander and have like a leadership meeting. And I was selected for that meeting from my platoon, myself and a guy named Meade. And Meade was an awesome dude. Meade was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was from the French Algiers. He spoke French, he spoke Arabic, he spoke English, and he was a very wealthy man. Very, very wealthy. He had a house in the United States, he had a house in France. And he joined the military to be an interpreter. And when we asked him, like, dude, you've got this, you've got stuff, like, why would you, you know, give that up to come join the army? And he's like, when I was younger, the United States took me in. They took care of me, you know, they looked after me. I was made a citizen, and, you know, and he's like, this is the right now they need people that can speak Arabic to help with interpreting. And he's like, and I can. And so the United States did stuff for me, I can do stuff for the United States. And it was just, I don't know, it was very beautiful. So, Meade, if you're out there, if you ever see this, what's up, dude? You are the all-star soldier. He was our number 1. Even though he was the oldest guy in our platoon, he just, you know, he took on the challenges. And he led us very well. So got to do the commanders meeting. That was really neat. Graduation was awesome. So I get my orders, and I'm going to AIT at Fort Meade, Texas. Or not, what am I saying? Oh my gosh. Fort Meade, Maryland. Wow. And that was very neat. It was very cool. I enjoyed Fort Meade. The area was neat. I got to go to Baltimore. I got to go to DC. I'd get like weekend passes and go down to DC and stuff and hang out and see a bunch of monuments. And I don't know, if being stationed at Fort Meade was nice. Now, granted, I was in the AIT side of it, so I don't know what it would be like to be permanent party there, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was nice. I went to DINFOS, the Defense Information School, and I learned about journalism and photography there. And I got my orders to go to my first unit, which was in Fort Hood, Texas, which is where I think I was getting confused there with Fort Meade, Texas. I went to Fort Hood, Texas. I was part of the 1st Cavalry Division, 3rd Brigade, 1st Cav. Great Wolf. And that was fun. Texas was different. It was definitely different. The thing that really stood out to me is I'm from Georgia, and if you look around everywhere I ride and stuff, I got lots of trees around. We have lots of trees, and I love that. I love the trees. I love greenery. You get out to Texas, man alive, there is like none of that. Yeah, okay, there's trees every now and then, but you got a bunch of shrubbery, a bunch of bushes and shrubbery and stuff like that, and things claiming to be trees, but they're really just really big bushes. And Fort Hood just, it's a very big post. There's lots of people. You can get lost there really quickly. You can get lost in the shuffle. While I was there, I married my first wife, and she was stationed at Fort Meade still. I met her at Fort Meade, and she got orders to go to Germany, so we were separated immediately. And it was like, great. Thought the Army tried to put people together, but it didn't happen for us. She was sent to Germany, and I was in Fort Hood, Texas. But because I was married, I couldn't live in the barracks, so I had to go and get an apartment outside the post and live alone out there. And I'm like, this is kind of awful. Yeah, it was living alone, and when I was newly married and all that stuff, that was not fun. I did not enjoy that. I did have some friends from AIT that were stationed out there with me, which was nice because I would hang out with them. Spent a lot of time. This was like 2005, early 2006. So I spent a lot of time at the mall because there was, the mall, there was the movies, and strip clubs out there, and I just wasn't into that. So Fort Hood had some things to offer. Killeen was an okay city in my opinion, and if you're from Killeen, I'm sorry, I mean no disrespect, but to each their own in their opinions. Everybody's got an opinion. They're not always wonderful, but nice, look at that. That's awesome. A fellow writer. They got theirs souped out a little bit. That's pretty cool. Very neat. Anywho, like I was saying, I went to Texas, went to Fort Hood, 3rd Brigade, 1st Cav, Great Wolf. Met some really great people, some awesome people, and it would be these people that I would go to war with, and I would not have chosen anybody better than the people I went to war with. They were phenomenal. They were absolutely phenomenal people. Let me get through this stoplight here. I had my NCO. Her name was, we called her Smadge because she pretty much acted like a sergeant major. She was very tough. I don't know if I should, well, I guess I could say her name. Serena Hayden. Sergeant Serena Hayden. Very good friend. Good leader. It was tough. Myself and another guy that was there, his name's Ben Fox. Ben Fox is a teacher in Texas. And it's kind of funny how Sergeant Hayden's, both of her soldiers became teachers. It's pretty hilarious, actually. But anyways, Fox and I were kind of crazy. We, you know, I was still young at this time, still pretty young. And even though I had some life experience and stuff, I still goofed around a little bit and had fun, and we were kind of crazy, Fox and I. So hats off to Smadge for being able to not brutally destroy us for being so wild, because we were wild. Let's just be real. we were wild kids. Had fun. It was good times. When we went to war, that was not fun. That was not good times. I was stationed in Bakuba, Iraq, and it was a very dangerous and deadly area. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of it because I don't want to relive certain things, and I already deal with a lot of that stuff. So hey, look, we're rolling up on this other Ryker rider here, or F3 rider, sorry. We are rolling. Yes, look at that, 2 of us together. Yeah, this is neat. Ha. She's probably like, leave me alone, guy. But that's fun. That's neat. I don't come across many other Spider riders or Ryker riders while I'm riding, so that's fun. That's a good time. But ooh, Krispy Kreme. Love Krispy Kreme. Love Dunkin' better though. See ya. Have a good one. She's having a good time. Awesome. So anyways, going to war kind of stunk, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of it because it just, it's not a good time. It wasn't a good time. I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be back. And my hat's off to Fox, because Fox had to go back out with another unit, and I did not. As soon as we got back from Iraq, I re-enlisted to go somewhere else. And I ended up going to Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, but I'll get into that in a minute. Fox, on the other hand, he got new orders, and I think within a year or just at a year, he was back in Iraq again. And it's my heart went out to him, because that's tough. It's tough. But while we were in Iraq, Fox and I tried to make the most of it. We tried to have fun. We made music videos. We made morale videos for people that we passed around via thumb drives, because YouTube wasn't a thing then. Like, it wasn't real or whatever. Nobody had heard of it. So we tried to build morale in the ways that we could. I went out on a lot of missions, a ton of missions, some scary ones, some ones that were completely safe and fine. Well, none of them are completely safe, but some of them that were fine, that nothing happened. I went out on some ones where a lot of stuff happened. I helped out with a lot of things. I cleared buildings, I kicked in doors, I cleared stairways. I did, your soldier stuff, because you're a soldier first. What I would do, because I had to take my camera out with me, because I am, like public affairs. I had my Molly stuff on my vest, my Molly gear, and I put my recorder in one of the pockets, and then I had a mountain climber, like a really heavy-duty mountain climber clip on my shoulder, and that's where I would hang the camera off of, and I'd have my rifle across my chest, and so I go in there with guns blazing first and before anything, and then once everything was clear, then I could start taking pictures of stuff. I had some I don't want to go again too far into it. I had a lot of good things happen in Iraq. I saw a lot of good things in Iraq. I saw a lot of good sides of humanity on both sides, on the American side, on the Iraqi side. I met some of the best Iraqi people I could ever dream of meeting. The stories that they told, the heart that they had, it's just, they're beautiful, beautiful people. And one of the stories that one of our interpreters told us, I share every now and then with classes that I teach, and it's a very tough story, because it was about how he was tortured, and but I tell that story to teach perseverance, overcoming odds. When you feel like your back's up against the wall, like how you handle yourself does matter. Do you push through or do you crumble? Things like that. And there's a lot of stories that I have from Iraq that would totally go into all of that. But I come back from Iraq, and again, it was very tough. Very, very tough. I'm definitely not the same. I've never been the same since. I like to say, I don't like to say, but basically when some people ask me, what was I like before Iraq? I was very energetic. I was very much a people person, people pleaser, and I still am to a degree. I still want to make people happy. But I was very, very friendly with people. I had lots of friends, lots of interactions with people. And when I came back, I was a shell. And I wanted nothing but quiet and calm, and I just wanted to be alone a lot of times, and I mentally was not in the right place when I came back. It was very, very obvious that the Coach Stroud that went to Iraq did not come back from Iraq. And I won't get into any mental health stuff here now. Man, it's another story for another time. But I re-enlisted to stay in the military. I ended up going to Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, and I loved it out there because the lady I was married to at the time, she was able to come out right there at the end of Fort Hood, Texas, and move with me to Redstone, and we could actually try to be a family. Well, when you've been married for 2 years and not lived with your wife once, you kind of grow apart from each other a little bit, and that happened, and needless to say that we didn't stay married for much longer. We tried. It just didn't happen, didn't work. We got 2 kids out of it, which was awesome. 2 wonderful, beautiful kids. And I do feel shame that I wasn't able to make it work with their mom to where, we could be together, stay together, and she could, our kids could grow up with a mother-father household, and now they grow up with 2 households, and that's, it's tough, and it's tough for them. But it is what it is, and here we are. Redstone was great. I love that place. I wasn't a fan of the unit I was with. They just, and I think that was more my issue than their issue. I think they did things fine. It's just I came from a unit that was gung-ho, that was ready to roll at all times, that was ready to leave out at a moment's notice, that worked hard, trained very hard, was very, I mean, just a tight unit. And when I went to the 59th Ordnance Brigade, it just, at Redstone Arsenal, it was a TRADOC unit, and they were about teaching and training and stuff like that, and a lot of people that had not deployed, and so they had no idea what it was like to be a deployed soldier. In fact, there were so few of us that the few that were there, we all had to like cling together. We all had to like be together because nobody understood us. And I'm not saying that to be mean or rude or anything. That's the truth of it. Like, we were not understood at all. And that stunk because, we were good guys. Just nobody, yeah. It's hard to understand deployed soldiers, especially when they were freshly back from being deployed. But at Redstone, there was a lot of cool things I got to do. I got to blow up a car. Let me back up. I got to blow up a car. Boom. So Redstone was an EOD AIT at the time. Now, they're not there anymore. They've moved up to, I believe, Fort Lee, Virginia. But at the time, they were in Redstone Arsenal and EOD unit. Lots of munitions, lots of bombs, lots of explosives. It was fun. It had its moments of like pure fun. I got to blow up a car, which was awesome. I don't know how many people can claim that they've blown up a car, but I have. I got to blow up quite a bit of things there. It's really, really neat. Oh man, that was good times. But what was really different about Redstone and the brigade that I was a part of is I went from having superiors over me. I was a specialist, and I had, I had my sergeant above me. I had my officer above me. I had major above me, and I had my coworkers. I had Fox. Me and him were a team together. And when I got to Redstone Arsenal, there was no public affairs. It was just me, and that was it was an E7 position, E6, E7 position, and I was an E4, and I filled that spot, and I was public affairs for the entire brigade. I did not have a public affairs officer or anything, or NCO, so it was my job to run, public affairs for this brigade. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a young soldier like that, but I did it. I was proud of the work I did. I worked very, very hard. I got into the newspaper there, the Redstone Rocket. That's where all my articles went. Lots of articles in the Rocket. But it was weird because I felt like I wasn't acting as a soldier there. I was literally press. I was media. And I was not used to that. I was used to being a soldier first. Now, I'm not going to say I was the best soldier. I definitely was not the best soldier. If I'm going to be honest with myself, I was not the best soldier, but I was a solid soldier, at least in my mind. And maybe Sergeant Hayden or a couple of my friends would be like, dude, you stunk. But in my mind, I was a good soldier. I was always on time. I got into trouble here and there, but not like anything horrifically bad. I got my good conduct medal because I had good conduct. Yeah. I don't know. It was just weird being in a TRADOC unit where their focus was not getting ready for war, because their attitude was much different than the attitude that I was used to and accustomed to. And so I didn't always get along with a lot of people, because when you're in the military, as I said in the last video, your life does not come first. The military's needs come first. And these people, a lot of these soldiers there did not understand that, because for a lot of them, that was their first unit, was this TRADOC unit. And so they thought that that's what the Army was like. And it's like, no, the Army is not like a TRADOC unit. And for those of you who don't know, a TRADOC unit is a unit that educates and they train soldiers, but they do not deploy. And so not having to deploy, knowing that you're not going to deploy, it puts a lot of people at ease and makes them very lazy. And yeah, it's not a good thing. And a lot of those people, especially the younger soldiers that go to TRADOC units first and then go to active Army units afterwards, if they re-enlist or they get orders to go somewhere else, they don't fare well. They don't do very well because they go to a unit that's now gung-ho about deployment, about war, about being prepared at all times, and they're like, whoa, this is not the world I came from. So it's tough. So Redstone was beautiful though, beautiful area, lots of cool little hidden things on the arsenal. The tombs were so neat. That's all I'll say about that because I don't want to get in trouble with anybody or anything, but the tombs there were really neat. There's tons of them down in the south end of the post. Huntsville's beautiful. Everybody there is a genius. I mean, close to a genius. There's more PhDs per capita in Huntsville than anywhere else in the United States, and it shows. There's a lot of really intelligent people. I like the area so much I bought a house out there in Madison, and I was gonna make that my permanent home, but that's almost like as soon as I bought that house and I was getting ready to get out of the military, because I literally had not much time left. I had like a year left. I got orders to go to Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and I'm sitting here like, are you kidding? Like, what? Why? I literally have a year left. Generally, they don't move you like that when you only have a year left, but my brigade was starting to prepare to get ready to move to Fort Lee, Virginia, and my spot was deemed to be no longer necessary. So there it was. I was going to move to Fort Bragg, where I was a part of the 18th Airborne Corps, and I was the personal photographer for the commanding general of the 18th Airborne Corps. And if you want to talk about one of the worst jobs you could ever have in the military, it is being a soldier directly under a commanding general. A lot of generals are actually very cool and very nice and, very direct and stern, and obviously they got to that position for a reason. The general I worked for, and not to throw shade, but I'm going to throw some shade, was one of the biggest babies I had ever met in my life. The guy could not do a single thing for himself, and he whined and cried, and I mean, just, oh man alive, it was just not great. But that's the way it goes. It's the way it goes sometimes. So that was, I obviously did not stay in the military from that. I let my contract run out. I got out of the service. The way it was, and the way things worked out, I ended up getting out. Excuse me for a second, I have to sorry. I got out about 5.5 years, almost 5.5 years after joining. And the way everything worked out from travel and movement, I was a part of the extension in Iraq. That was one of the bad things about being in Iraq when I was there, is we had made it halfway. We were like 7 months into our deployment, or 6 months into our deployment, and we thought, all right, we're halfway now, we can celebrate. And then we got word that we had been extended, and we were no longer even halfway, and we would still have to go like another month and a half before we would officially be halfway now. And that just devastated us. The morale dropped so much, and it was hard. Oh my goodness, it was so hard. So that's where the extra time comes in. with my re-enlistment and stuff. And so yeah, that's about it. I mean, I have more stories about the military. So you're probably thinking, okay, Coach, you said why I served. Why did I serve? Well, I wanted to serve and be a part of something bigger than myself. I wanted to serve my country. That was a very big deal to me from a young age. And I wanted to give back to my country because I love America. I love the freedoms that we have here. And I got to, as a history teacher now, I get to teach to my students these things that they take for granted, these freedoms that we have in America that they take for granted. These teenagers, and some of them will complain about certain things, and they'll say certain things, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea how good we have it. And one of the reasons for how good we have it is there was a lot of work and a lot of effort from soldiers and people to make sure that we still have those freedoms. And so yeah, that was a big deal to me, wanting to serve my country in a positive way. I'm glad I did. It set up everything in life for me, because when I got out of the military, I struggled for a bit. I got going. It was difficult at first. I was still dealing with a lot of PTSD issues. A lot of them, actually, a ton. And it was not smooth sailing for me upon getting out of the military. I was shell-shocked for a long time. But I finally got going. My dad's company needed some help with stuff, so I started working for them, installing telephone lines and things of that nature. And I started going to college. And that's another story about how or why I became a teacher. That's a whole nother shebang that I'll have to do in another time, because that story is long. So honestly, I know this version, or part 2 of why I served, was not as, I don't want to say not as interesting as the other. Oh, that guy's a Vietnam vet, sweet. And I'm sorry for that if you don't find it to be as entertaining, like ending with a cool story like I did before. But the story I was gonna tell you to end with, I gotta be honest, the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I was like, I don't want to get into that, because it's about one of the best soldiers I ever knew, and how he tragically passed away in Iraq, and I just, it's tough. That story will come later, maybe one day, I don't know. So, anywho, I'm going to say deuces for now. That's going to be it. And if you watch, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And until next time, Coach Stroud, deuces, we are out. Peace.